Hi, how are you? Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. If you're here and you're here for the very first time, you're very welcome. You're going to find lovely things here. And if you're back, yay for you, you like what you see. Anyway, today I'm going to talk about something very personal. And I hope that it will inspire you and answer some of your questions or help you figure out some things in your life that you're trying to figure out. I'm going to talk about, I really don't know what the title of this video is yet, but maybe you know. Anyway, let's get into it. My name is Mariangela Chezira, and I am a mother and I am a wife. Last time I made the mistake of saying I have 3 children. It got me in trouble. I don't have just 3 children. I have I have spiritual children who, when I said I have 3 children, they were in my inbox. Excuse me, mama, da 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 da. So I have many children who call me mama, and so I am a mother and I am a wife. And I send shout outs to all my kids. I won't say the number lest I miscount them. But yeah, moving on. So I had my plans for this video already. Like when I went to sleep on Friday night, which day do I record? I don't know. But when I went to sleep the night after recording the other video, I immediately knew what I was going to talk about. I even went and did research about it. I wrote it down, everything. I had a script, and it was nice. Maybe the Lord will allow me to share it one day. I don't know. But today he's talking about something else. So this dropped in my spirit to share, I guess, how I got to know who my husband was going to be and how I got to that point. Maybe you're out there and you don't know how to pick your man or which decision to make about which man to pick. You have many. I'm going to talk about how the Lord led me to my husband, and hopefully, what I talk about will help you to know who your husband is or to confirm that you are with your husband. Yeah, so where do I start from? From the beginning, but which beginning? I'll start from where, let me say, I met. Okay, so I have always wanted to get married. Like I am like a number of women who in their life, one of the goals was getting married and having children. I was those people. I wasn't those people who are like, me, I don't want husbands, what, men are trash. No, me, I wanted to get married and I sought it out like diligently. I always made sure I am available to be dated or quoted or whatever. I always made sure that I was there to be seen. So when it came to, let's say, finding a husband, before I got born again, you date, it doesn't work out, you move on. Also, I was young, so young relationships, it's not anything that is like serious, but you're hoping that it will end into marriage. For me, every time I dated, whether in, I won't tell you which class, but when I started dating, even then I was like, this one is going to be my husband. Then it doesn't work out. Then you're like, okay, then the next one, this one is going to be my husband. Like for me, always dating led to husband. It was never for the moment, it was never for just enjoying, it was husband. I feel sorry for those guys, but Kubanga, me, I would be planning our children, planning how many we would have, where we would live. Can you imagine? Jokanga, maybe that guy is just enjoying. But anyway, moving on from that. So when I got born again, I became very purposeful about finding a good man, especially a born again man, and that was important to me. So whichever circles I joined, I made myself available for dating, but I also used to scan the men in those circles, and I'm like, married, ring, 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 no. Then when I see the ones who don't have a ring, I'm like smiling. Okay, not really, but like I would make myself available for, like, not like make myself available. I'm sounding wrong right now. But like I don't know how to explain it, but I used to joke with my friends that when we would go out, that you make eyes at men. Over some people the eyes, I'm like, like you give him eyes so that he can know you. Anyway, that aside, I used to look out for the men who are not married and see whether they are interested in me. But that never panned out, I guess. I always was never picked by that man who's not married. And thankfully, I wasn't those people that were hit on by the ones who are married, thankfully. So now I'm born again. I'm seeking God on who should my husband be? Where do I find him? Da 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 da. I had dated some people, but things don't work out. Whichever way causes it not to work out, but sometimes things don't work out. And I'm now praying about it. But the very last time when I dated, I was like, you know what? I am done with this thing. First and foremost, I can't choose someone for myself. I don't know who they are, where they come from, what they're going to do. I wanted to be purposeful with a person who I got married to. Kale, I think at that time I wasn't that deep. I was just praying for God's will in my life for the person that I was going to marry. 2015, I make a pact with a friend of mine that we are not going to date. We are like, we are not going to date. Me and her, we just said we are not dating. We are tired of guys. Da, 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 da. So, but me, when I made that pact, I prayed. I told God, Lord, I give you my heart. I give you my heart. May you give it to the man whom you want me to marry. May you give it to him so that I love him. It's easy. And that was it. It wasn't deep. It wasn't, I don't even know if I said in Jesus' name. It was just at that time, the cry of my heart. Lord, I give you my heart. Give it to whom you want me to be with. End of story. So I think I went somewhere where they were teaching about how to be specific about the things you ask God for. And we hear this gospel a lot. Write down everything you want from God. Write down the details. They were like, you're praying for a man. But what are you praying for? What man do you want? Do you want... So they were like, be specific about the guy you want. So I wrote down my things. I'm not going to tell you my things lest you begin comparing them with my husband. But I wrote my things, very many. Okay, there weren't many, maybe 10. And I put them on my computer. The computer has that thing called sticky notes. So I put my husband, then I put the things I wanted, and it was there. So time passes, I think maybe 2 weeks pass, and then I go to URA and I met this person. I'm like, okay. Then I went to church. At that time, I used to sing in choir. I used to sing in choir. I was singing in choir, so this guy texted me. He's like, oh, I saw you singing, Manange, well done, blah, blah. So because already I had seen him earlier, I'm like, yeah, that's it. He was in church. All the qualities I had on my list, all of them, they were there. So he's like, let's go out on a date. Now, when it came to going out on a date, I'm like, it's fine, let's go. So we set a date. Now I go to work. I used to work in Mengo at the time, in my mom's business at the time. So I go to work. I had this thing, I think at that time I was fasting and praying. So I used to go to my car at lunchtime to pray. So I get my Bible, my phone, I go to the car to pray. Now, when I'm praying, this is what I was praying. I was like, Lord, thank you so much for my husband. Thank you because you have brought him. Thank you, oh Lord, you're so good. Remember, I had seen this person, he had asked me out and he had my list things. So I was like, this is God answering all my prayers. I prayed. I didn't over pray. I was just starting. Lord, thank you so much. You've given me the man. Oh, you're so good. I had not even prayed for 5 minutes. I can tell you, it had not even been 5 minutes. The Lord very clearly told me in my spirit, He is not the one. That word was so loud in my spirit that I could not ignore it. I stopped. I'm like, He's not the one. When you have been set out to pray for like 30 minutes, 1 hour, however long it takes, that one word as like, I carried my Bible. And I went back and I sat at my chair and continued with my day. But I was like, Banange, he's not the one. Of course, at the time, I wanted to do God's will. So when he said he's not the one, I'm like, okay, it's fine, I shall it. But remember, I had set the date. So I'm like, Ati, what am I supposed to do? I was like, let me just go. So at that time, I used to sing at church. So I sang Saturday service of Watoto, Saturday service, then went out with this person. And when I went with this person, he was talking, hey, Barokole things, what? Then he said something that was so contradictory to what I knew and believed about marriage. And I was like, yeah, God, you are right. He's not the one. Sometimes God tells you, this person is not the one. Now, in all your wisdom and knowledge, you're like, let me first see. Let me first go and see. Nayenga mukama akugambye, this person is not the one. Vaayo. You insist. Good enough, I didn't over insist. I went for that date. I realized the person wasn't the one. Then cheater. And I moved on swiftly with my life. I didn't look back. I didn't think twice about it. Because remember, I had asked God to give my heart to whom He wanted. Then time passes. Then I remember the time, not remember because I haven't told you. At the time I was living in Chaliwajala. I had cell in Nalia. So I used to go to this particular cell. And Banange, the way I met my husband is so cliche. Like I met him in fellowship. I was there in fellowship and he was there. And he had been there, by the way, for a while. I had known him for maybe close to almost a year by that time. So we are in cell. Remember I had told you that for me, wherever I went to a space, I would look at who had rings and I would count who can have access to me. So in this cell, there were many married people, but then there was also my husband. He wasn't married, and I think some other girls. And I didn't think twice about it because I was like, he was, the things that were on my list, some of them, he didn't have them. So I was like, it's okay. I didn't consider him twice. Then he begins, when someone randomly begins sending you hi after they have never said hi to you except for MC because of where I go. They come and they're like hi, and me, I knew this hi is not just a hi. I could sense in my spirit where this hi was going, and I was like, no hi. So I never said hi. He's like, hi. Then he's like, let's go here. Let's have lunch. Remember how I had been searching for a husband. Now someone is like, let's go have lunch. I'm like, no. Because I knew where it was going. For some reason in my heart, I just knew. The minute I say hi to this person, wedding, that I knew it. So anyway, long story short, he said hi. I said hi back. And a few years later, we are married with our children. Now the story of me saying hi is also another story. The story of us actually coming together and me saying hi back is another story because I had to really hear God tell me clearly, this is your person. This is the one I want for you. Because I had asked for His will, He gave me His will. And He was like, this is the one. You go with him. Do this, do that. And over time, from the moment the Lord was like, this is the one, I pursued the person. I gave in willingly to his pursuits. And yeah, I'm here where I am, being a missus to that person. And I thank God that I listened to his leading. What am I saying in all of this? I'm saying that if you're seeking God on who your husband should be, there are a number of things that you should consider. There are a number of things that you should consider. Because there are a number of things that I considered that were really not that important to deal at the end of the day. My flesh man was thinking about who's going to take care of me, who looks nice, who is tall, as if I'm very tall, who is, all those worldly characteristics that we are looking for in a man. But what God had for me was someone who would help me become everything that God had called me to be. The person that I married has molded me or helped to mold me into the woman that I am now. He is someone that I could submit to. He is someone who I could be led by. He is someone who could cause me to question and seek God and do all the things that God called me to do. I just want to tell you that marriage is not simply for falling in love and having a good time. Marriage is for a purpose. Marriage is for where God has called you to go. So, this person that you're choosing, there are a few things I want you to consider. Is this person someone you can submit to? Because submission is key in marriage. Can you submit to this person? Are you willing to surrender your life to this person? Because that's what being a wife is. You surrender your life to this person. If you don't, marriage becomes difficult for you because you're constantly in a battle of wills. Do you trust this person? Can you trust them with your life? Can you trust them with the most intimate bits of you? Because, of course, at the beginning you may not, but you need to see a future where you can actually trust this person. When this person tells you something, do you listen? Does it make sense to you, or are you just in for the ride? Many times these days we take marriage as a thing. You leap in, you leap out. It's not like that. God made marriage for a purpose. Marriage is likened unto the church, Christ and the church. Let me read that verse really quickly. Ephesians 5:32, it says, "This is a great mystery, but I speak concerning Christ and the church." So he's talking about marriage, that marriage is a great mystery. That for this cause shall a man leave his father and mother and be joined unto his wife, and they two shall become one. When you get married, you're supposed to become one with your husband. The reason why I'm likening it to Christ and the church is that when you get born again, you become one with Christ. So imagine you've become one with Christ. Then when Christ is not doing what you want, you leave. Are you even born again? In fact, it's impossible. When you denounce Christ, you can never come back. If you say, "Me, I am done with God," you can never return. It says that in Hebrews. So if marriage is likened unto Christ and the church, and the relationship with Christ and the church is that you can't leave, why would you think that in marriage you can leave? Okay, so when you're picking this person, what are the things you're looking at? Are you looking at where he's taking you, or are you looking at how you feel right now? As women, our feelings change like this. My husband can do something nice for me, and I'm like, I will kill anyone for him. Then he will do something the next minute, and I will be ready to murder him. So it's like my feelings cannot determine who I marry. I need someone to show me the way. And, and if I'm asking God for direction and He's telling me, pay attention to this and pay attention to this, if God is telling you, pay attention to this and pay attention to this, pay attention to it. Because as women, we are pursued, but the decision is ours. You make a decision that you know you're not going to regret. Is this person someone you can submit to? Is this person someone that can lead you? Do you see him taking you somewhere? Is God telling you to marry this person? Some of us can be like, me, I don't know when God is talking. Even when God is telling me, I don't hear. Let me tell you something. If you're with someone and you know you're not supposed to be with that person, you know that knowing that you know is God telling you, leave this thing alone. Even if you're not born again, God talks to all of us. These things of, Manang, I had a gut feeling. Guts don't have feelings. God is talking to you. And when you meet people who have left marriages and relationships, they will tell you, I knew, Kala, I had a feeling. These days we call them red flags. If you see that red flag, my dear, pay attention. Maybe God is trying to tell you this is not the one for you. Maybe God is showing you someone who you don't want to look at because it doesn't fit all your things on your list. First, put the list aside, because the list sometimes is made out of your flesh, what the flesh wants. You want this tall, nice looking guy so you can take nice selfies. Yet someone God has put for you is going to build you, mold you, help you become the person that you are called to be. So I implore you, if you've had anything from this message, let it be. Let God help you find the person that you're supposed to be. Let God lead you. Let God guide you. And if God is speaking, listen to Him and do what He's telling you to do. Because the results will be good. Me, I'm telling you, I do not regret following the direction of the Lord. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying it was a bed of roses. I'm not saying anything. I'm saying I don't regret following God's direction and because being in God's will is more important than anything else in life. And also, something else, you have a right to choose the man you want to choose. You have every right to do that. But if you've asked God to help you, then let Him help you. Yeah, so I guess that's what I had for you today. If you've loved this message, if you've liked, if it has done something for you, please comment, please let me know. And please share with your friends so that they can also be blessed by what is going on over here. Thank you and bye.